Hi, this is Nancy Mascott with ABN Newswire. We're here in Vancouver at the CanVest Investment Conference 2015 in June. I'm very excited to have a company here that is in the battery sector. It's something that everyone is concerned about nowadays. And I'm pleasure to have Dan Blondal. He is the CEO of Nano Materials. Thank you for joining me, Dan.
Well, thank you, Nancy. It's a pleasure to be here with you and your entire network.
Why does my phone die is my first question.
Well, it's a question that's on everybody's mind almost every day, and it really has to do with the underlying materials and how much energy they can store. But it's also factored into there is how those materials are manufactured, because that's essentially what enables them to be in your phone. And we have a technology that addresses both the manufacturing and the performance side of battery materials.
And what kind of results have you been seeing?
Well, our technology has enabled us to see better charging, better cycling, better cost, and better sort of a lifetime out of the battery itself. And it comes down to the way those materials are structured. So by nanostructuring the materials, we can see improved performance in the material. But we can also reduce the cost of the raw materials going in, so we're using less pure materials, and we also improve the process itself. We've simplified the process, so we're addressing both the cost and the performance side at the same time. And what that means to the industry, if you think about it from the applications where batteries are used, in the electric vehicle space, they build very large batteries out of many, many cells, and they do that partly to make a battery last longer, so that each cell doesn't kind of take as much, there's not as much demand on each cell, if that makes sense. If you can make a battery material that lasts longer, you can cut down the number of cells. If you can cut down the number of cells, you reduce the weight, the cost, improve the mileage, remove the anxiety, and basically increase market adoption rates. And from a consumer point of view, a consumer electronic point of view, we see the improvement to these materials as improving the cost of ownership in the batteries that are in your cell phones and laptops and power tools, etc.
And what kind of interest have you been receiving from the industry?
So we've been talking to the big battery players out there, and we've also been talking to some of their suppliers, and we have materials test agreements in place with a few of these folks, and we also have done testing with Canada's National Research Council, and the results we've seen back from them largely validate what we see in the lab. So what I spoke about before about the capacity, charging, cycling, and it's very exciting to us. It's very encouraging.
I bet. Now, I've seen out there the number of battery companies in the technology sector here that have made announcements, but they have not come to fruition. What makes your company stand out from that?
Well, we stand apart from a lot of these folks in the battery material space because we're addressing the manufacturing side of it rather than strictly the material formulation. So we started this company in 2011 with an idea. We did a proof of concept. We filed patents. We have 6 patents in the U.S. filed right now and pending, and another 6 in international jurisdictions. And then on the back of that, we started talking to the strategics, like you asked me in the last question. And what that's led us to is a stage right now where we have a bench scale operation where we're producing materials in the hundreds of grams an hour. Now that may not sound like a lot, but it's about a tenth of the way to a full pilot facility. So we have a very productive bench scale operation that scales quite readily into piloting and full scale production. We've partnered with a company called BC Research and their parent NORAM Engineering, who specialize in the industrial commercialization of technology, taking it from bench all the way through to full-scale chemical plants, and they're very experienced, international reputation in doing so. So we're very excited about that partnership, and we think that'll help de-risk the scale-up and the commercialization side of things, and will enable us to reach out and test materials with some of these folks and really prove that we've got this platform technology that can address many different markets.
What do you mean by platform?
Oh, well, I'm glad you called me on that because platform's it's a bit of a buzzword in the industry, but it really just means it's a manufacturing technology that has many different applications. So think of it as a chemical assembly line. So we're taking compounds like lithium, nickel, manganese, and we're bringing them together, structuring them into a chemical compound or a structure that allows lithium ions to flow in and out. So it has very good electrochemical properties. So it's good for a battery application. But the same process could be used to assemble let's say, could be used to assemble aluminum with other mixed metals to make a very strong ceramic material that might be used in the aeronautical space, or maybe with organic materials that might be able to be used in a drug delivery system. So there's many different applications and many different verticals where we could take this technology, and that's what I mean by platform technology. We're not beholden to lithium, we're not beholden to the battery space, and that's We feel there's a ton of really big opportunities in many different verticals, and we're very excited about it, and our shareholders are certainly very much behind us on this. So.
Well, speaking of shareholders, perhaps you could tell me your website and your stock symbol?
Right, okay, so the website is www.nano1.ca, and the symbol is on the TSX Venture, NNO. We went through an RTO recently and listed just 3 months ago in early March.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Dan. It's been a pleasure.
Well, thank you very much, Nancy. And again, thank you for being here and sharing this interview with you and your network. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
It's Nancy Mascott, ABN Newswire.